Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just an update on my situation. And it's not a good one, so if you don't like bad news and you don't like hearing bad stuff, then click off the video and go away. It's the best advice I can give you. But for the rest of you who actually want to hear this stuff, even those who would revel in my misery, stick around. So, one thing that I've found is, and I've found this throughout life, and you'd think I'd learned the lesson or not, is to not rely upon people. People will walk away from you and they will ghost you, as in they'll just disappear and, you won't hear from them. They won't answer the phone. They're not around when you're at your lowest. When you are at your lowest, people will walk away from you. Plan on it. It is the way people are. It's just the way they are. You have to plan for the worst. A lot of people are like, well, you can't be pessimistic. You can't look at the glass half empty or whatever. No. You have to plan for the worst. Because in this day and age, especially now with the way social media has changed the way people behave and the way they think, and how society has changed over the years, to where people just don't even respect each other anymore. I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying most people don't respect each other anymore. So, you have to plan for disaster. I didn't plan very well. That was, that's my fault. I should have known. I should have really taken it to heart, but I was thinking Mom would last at least, a couple more years, several more years, maybe 5, who knows. And then the car would be owned free and clear. I wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff. I could have planned it better, but no, just right there out of the blue on Christmas morning, I found her dying in her bed. And afterwards, when she did pass, one of my uncles stepped up and he took out a loan, unbeknownst to me, to pay for my property taxes and for Mom's cremation. And that was fantastic. But I didn't know he took out a loan. He told me that that the rest of the family chipped in to do it. And even my other uncle came up with him to talk to me after Mom passed. And, he acted like a pure politician. The other uncle, the one who, he didn't pay a penny. He didn't pay a penny. In fact, when he got back down to Connecticut after being here, he told my uncle that was trying to, rally support for me, to help me out so that I could at least ride this out until things are settled. He told him, no, we don't want to have anything to do with him or the property up there. So he smiled at my face. He smiled to my face and lied to me. Told me everything's going to be fine. And this is a churchgoer, too. So, you religious people out there, it doesn't matter if you go to church. You can go to church all day long. If your piousness ends at the door, then you're wasting your time at the church. That's all there is to it. You're just going for appearance's sake. I used to go to church a lot, and I used to go and see the fashion show that was basically put on. People putting on fashion show, playing roles, acting specific ways, saying all these flowery things. But once the church property ends, once they drive off that lot, that's when all of that becomes nonsense and doesn't even get practiced. I could be hitchhiking on the side of the road and they'd just pass me right by. But in church, they're very, very pious. I hate that. I cannot stand hypocrites. And I can't stand liars. And it's amazing that when you're at your lowest, people will walk away from you. I had family friends promise to help me get a car that they would find something, even a beater that I could just drive around and get here to there. You know what happened? I didn't hear from them again. That's what happened. I went to all these organizations and begged for help over the past several weeks. And basically got the door shut in my face. I don't have Down syndrome and I'm not in a wheelchair. So, sorry about the birds. They're being very loud today. Got a bunch of starlings around the yard, and if you could hear them, they're just making a ton of noise today. Anyway, I guess it's that season. But regardless, back on track. Yeah, I went to all these organizations. There was an organization that supplied cars for poor people and disabled people, and the government, our state government of New Hampshire, yanked their funding. They took the funding away. And I'll give you a little bit of perspective on New Hampshire and how they think of disabled people. One of their representatives, who is still working in the government, said that all the disabled people in the United States, and especially New Hampshire, should be taken out to Siberia, left out in the cold, and frozen to death. And he was never reprimanded for saying that. And he still has his job. When they yanked funding for several things that were helping the disabled people, there were people with their kids in wheelchairs at the State House, crying and begging on their knees, begging and pleading for them to reconsider. They just walked right past them. Government only serves rich people. Get that through your head. The government doesn't help anybody. They serve, unless you're wealthy, they don't care about you. Unless they can make some kind of profit off of you. So I went to all these agencies and looked for help and found nothing. I checked into the property taxes and I found nothing there too. There's no way I could fully reduce it down to pretty much anything that could be afforded. I can't afford the friggin' $1,500 every 6 months for property taxes. There's no way. I don't have the money. Plain and simple. And with the car, I can't afford, they offered me to take over the car payments. I can't afford $250 a month in a car payment, plus the minimum insurance they will accept while I'm making payments on the car would be almost $100 a month. So there's $350 a month. I only get $800 a month. And I have other bills to pay. I have to keep this place heated. I have to keep the lights on. We have the second highest electric rates in the entire United States here in New Hampshire. Why, I don't know. We also have I think the fourth highest property taxes in the entire United States. Why? What's here? There's nothing here. There's just woods. Probably a lot of rich people living here. That's probably why. A lot of rich people living in these old homes. But that's what's going on. And I barely get any kind of, messages from people. There's maybe, I could count all the people on one hand who actually contact me on a regular basis. The rest of them just walked away. Just walked away. I understand people have their own problems, their own situations, but if you truly care about somebody and you truly mark them as a friend, why not talk to them every few days or so? Let them know that you're still there for them. No, they just disappear. I've had people on this channel that I've talked to for years, they just ghost me. I've had people I grew up with that I was talking to on a regular basis while I was back on Facebook, and until that ended. And now they're all gone. Out of sight, out of mind. So my big message of all of this, my big lesson in all of this is always expect that they are going to abandon you, and take no one at their word unless they have proven it in the past, and they have to really prove it. But expect people to lie to you. Expect people to abandon you. You'll be pleasantly surprised if they don't. But always watch your back. Because it seems these days barely anyone has your back. I'm a living example of being abandoned by family and friends. It is what it is. That's on them. It's not on me. But it is what it is, like I said. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day. If you still have your loved ones with you and they still support you, and you have a strong group of friends, cherish them. Do what you can for them. Support them when they're down, when they need it, and be very, very grateful for their support. I'm very, very grateful for the few people who do contact me on a regular basis and talk to me. The rest of you just fair weather friends. And if you don't like listening to that, then too bad, go away. This channel's at an end anyway, pretty much. I don't like liars, I don't like hypocrites, and I don't like people who make false promises to others. And the worst time to make a false promise to somebody is when they are at their lowest. And at this point, I am at my lowest. Well, close to it, anyway. And I've got to find a way to somehow survive without their help. And without their support that they said they would provide. It left me vulnerable. And it damaged my ability to do things for myself. Because I trusted them. Anyway, have a nice day.